Hello everybody, welcome back to our channel. This is the second video in our two-part series discussing AI and machine learning within OpenText Capture. In our first video, we covered the details, the theory, the concepts, the terminology of how AI and machine learning are incorporated into OpenText Capture. But in this video, we wanted to actually take those concepts and put them into action in the form of a live demonstration. Now, before getting started on the demo, I did want to preface it with saying a few things. The first thing is, in this demo, there is no prior learning, meaning the system has been cleared. There is no hard-coded data. The system, the machine learning and AI algorithms have no working knowledge of what we're processing. Okay, so all the learning, all the training, all the importing of our documents is going to happen live during this demonstration. And in this demo, we're going to be using invoices and purchase orders. But again, the system is robust enough, powerful, and smart enough to deal with any document, any form that your organization deals with. We are going to be importing our documents. Remember that the system has no working knowledge of the type of documents we're processing. And we have not pre-configured any templates, any extraction, any forms. So we'll go ahead and import our invoices and our purchase orders. In this case, we have 3 invoices, 2 purchase orders. And you can see here that we have our invoices, our purchase orders. But to make this a little bit more interesting, we're going to mix and match our invoices with our purchase orders. So almost like giving the sense that you took a stack of documents and you imported them into the system, right? So no pre-filtering, no document preparation, just take your stack of documents and import them into the system. Once the documents are in, we'll go ahead and continue the process on to the next step. One of the next steps is one of the human in the loop steps, meaning because this data, these documents are brand new, the system has no idea what they are, they need some help to understand what it is they're processing. In this case, we're going to go to a step called identification or manual classification. So we're going to open up our documents, and again, because the system has no idea what they are, we're just going to tell the system, hey, listen, we're just dealing with either an invoice or a purchase order. So we'll go through each one and we'll specify invoice or purchase order depending on what type of document it is. And we'll do this for each document and essentially training the system. Remember that in this system, any type of manual work is not wasted effort. Now, once that is done, we'll move on to the second step, or the second human in the loop step, which again is just as important as the classification of our documents. In this case, because the system is dealing with these documents for the first time, it doesn't know where to extract the data. So we're going to tell the system, we're going to train the system where this data can be extracted. Now, to train the system, we can either use what we call rubber band, which is like a click and drag, and you draw the surrounding box of where you want the data extracted, or you can just simply click the field that you want to learn onto that specific field. So we'll do that in this case for the invoices for every field. So in this case, we'll do the invoice number, we'll do the invoice terms. Again, in this case, we're rubber banding. We'll do the invoice total, and then we'll do the invoice date. Again, because it's the first time around, the system doesn't know where this information is, but keep in mind, this is just simply training the system. Manual work is not wasted work. So we'll do that for our invoices, and we'll do that for our purchase order numbers now. So in this case, again, we'll find the data on the form, the purchase order number, the PO terms. In this case, it didn't pick up one of the characters, but we'll type that in. And even manual typing, that is still training the system. This purchase order is unique because it has table data. The ML and AI within OpenText Capture is just as good on table data as it is on other fields. So in this case, we have our table which has 3 rows, and we'll start training the system. Quantity, unit, description. But notice that we're only going to train the first row. Now you might think, well, why didn't we train the entire row? That's the power behind this, that once we train one row, the system is smart enough to know, hey, the one below this is another row that belongs to the table. And you'll see that here once we do the second pass. We'll do the PO total, the PO date, and then we'll move on to our second invoice, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much the step that we take for every invoice, every purchase order. So once we do that for every invoice and every purchase order, we'll go ahead and finish the document in this step, and we'll move on to the next step. So now that we've done that, we've gone through our first pass of training. We've classified our documents, we've specified and told the system where the data is located, so we've essentially trained the system. So we'll go ahead and import our invoices, our purchase orders. Then again here we can see that we have our invoices, our purchase orders, and we'll move on to the next step. Now you'll notice here that this time around it bypassed the manual classification step. Why? Because since the system has been trained on this, it knows, hey, you know what, we're dealing with invoices and purchase orders. And when we open our documents, you'll notice that even in this step, the data, the information is automatically extracted, automatically populated. So you'll see here that the machine learning and the AI have learned this information, the invoice number, the terms, the total, the date. All of those are automatically extracted for various invoices, not just one. So all of this is automatically extracted. Now if we move on to our purchase orders, the PO number, the terms, all that information is extracted automatically. But more importantly, even though we only trained one row of the table, it was smart enough to know that, hey, there's more rows to it. So every single row in this document was automatically extracted, again because the ML and AI algorithms were trained, and it's smart enough to now know where that data comes from. I hope that demo was a good explanation as to how all that actually works within Capture. Please stay tuned. We're going to be posting videos as it relates to not only Capture and ML and AI, but new features, new versions. So please stay tuned for that.